of what is a mother, what is a brother. My first school was the propaganda to become a warrior.
We got over 600 million from West to repair the country. But no matter how much you bring, you cannot restore the soul. The war is never over. It's like you put an acid on a person. The scar will be always there. You can build roads, you can demine rice fields, but you cannot reconstruct the face. How can you put together the family that has been destroyed?
We need to start from scratch, the younger generation, and I say education, yes. You can build a building very easy, but it is better first to build a mind and then the building, so that the building should be safe in the minds.
When I started my work and would speak to the police, they would say, "Oh, come on, women don't feel loved if they're not beaten." I was astonished. He beats you, therefore he loves you? You know, it's Russian saying that comes from the 16th century, from the Mastroy household rules. Written rules stating how a household should be run.
The man is the master of the house.
Everyone else is a servant.
A man should punish his wife to make her more obedient.
Don't beat her on her face, because you won't be able to show her in public.
Don't beat her on the stomach if she's pregnant.
It's better to use the whip rather than a stick, because it will be more painful, so she will learn the lesson better. After beating her, show her how much you love her, so she will understand the lesson deeper and appreciate you more.
He beats you, therefore he loves you. Since the 16th century, it has been an excuse.
My father left our little room when I was only 3, but I always loved him with all my heart. He was very emotional, like me, handsome and brave and strong-looking. But there was always trouble in his life, drinking and women. When I was 12 years, my father came to our house. "I have a new woman," he tells my mother. "I'm going to introduce you to her, but don't say that you're my wife. You are the mother of my 2 children." When he brings the woman to our home, my mother says, "I'm only the mother of his children. We don't have any relations." I was very angry. "You're both going to be punished because you're not saying the truth." And to my loving mother, "You have no dignity as a woman."
One idea keeps pushing away the others. Maybe I can help the women of my country. Yes, that could be possible. So this is how I'm thinking. When I find out that my rape wasn't just the evil plot of the Mastuis, but was ordered by the tribal elders, the very men who are supposed to protect all the women as if we were their own daughters. Before my rape, girls were kidnapped off the streets, or a man would force sex on a woman. But this time, the entire council decided that I should be gang raped. They called it an honor revenge. Nowhere does the Quran say that Islam supports violence against women. This is why the Imam tells the congregation in his Friday sermon,
The village council has sinned greatly in ordering the violation of this Islamic law. Criminals responsible for the rape must be brought to justice. Muqdama and her family should go to the police and file charges immediately.
I had never heard of the Constitution or realized that I was a citizen of Pakistan and that citizens, even if they are women, have legal rights. In my whole life, I had never talked to a policeman or a lawyer or a judge. But this Mukhtar was not the same woman who had kneeled down to the Mastuis. Now, whatever happens, I am going to speak out.
Which newspaper did you say?
The New York Times. What is your reaction?
Excuse me, to what?
You don't know?
No, what is it?
Your father is dead.
You are mistaken. But she wasn't mistaken. My father was dead. He had been in solitary confinement for 4 years since the election. He was supposed to be released within days. He died in a meeting with the U.S. State Department and Nigerian government officials, probably poisoned. His campaign had been called Hope 93, Farewell to Poverty. Our country was then one of the poorest in the world. In Nigeria's history, people had voted for this man, for the promise. But the military government didn't want to leave. They offered money, they offered access to oil fields, but he would not accept it, no price. He wouldn't betray his democratic mandate from the Nigerian people. They took his life, the same as with my mom.
8 days after the rape, I traveled to a police station in Jatui, many miles away, with my father and brothers. The policeman is sitting at his desk when I enter. He doesn't even lift his head to look at me.
Yes? What do you come to tell me? Your complaint?
I was Fez Mohammed from the Mustuis. He ordered 4 men to rape me.
No, this cannot be your complaint. You cannot say that you've been raped. We know what happened. You must sign here.
But I don't know what it says.
You must sign, I said.
I can't. I don't know how to write my name.
So use your thumbprint like the other women.
This is when I understand why we must have knowledge. If you are educated, you can fight for your rights. But when you are illiterate, how can you stop the injustice that falls down on you?
We don't really know what happened. Maybe we'll never know. And to be honest with you, it's not so important to me how they died. The most important thing is how they lived. I am taking up their legacy. I've named my organization after my mom, Qdurat. In Arabic, it means power. I'm working to show young girls, young women, that they can have power and teach them how to reclaim it.
Now I again live in Phnom Penh. My childhood memory flood back. This is where I learned how to bike. That is where I learned how to swim. When rain came down in dry bucket. Floating in the street, my brother Somli and I caught fish to put in a huge jar on our 3rd floor balcony. I used to accompany my mother to Satome, a large yellow central market, which stalls spilled outside into the open air. I loved to wander through the long road, staring at huge piles of fish, fruit, and vegetables. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, helping my mother cook. At night on the radio, we listened to the opera. Music of Ramayana plays for hours.
My brother used to play in a big hall, like a trench that surrounded the sauna where we lived. He didn't like school. I was all the time thinking, I need to study, I need to prepare. I tell my mother, one day I'm going to have la Herrera, a swivel chair, and many people under my command. My mother laughs and says, está bien para soñar. It's okay for you to think. Now I'm 3 times selected and sitting in my swivel chair.
My father was a military pilot and my mother was a nurse. I grew up mostly in the northern part of Russia, in the polar area, Murmansk. In winter I would go skiing with my friends, and for us to go 3-5 kilometers in the wild forest, that was normal. Really, we were not afraid or anything. In the summer, I would spend time with my grandparents who lived on the Black Sea. And for me, swimming in the storm, jumping under big waves, swimming as far out as I could, where you could almost not see the shore, that was normal. I was the first grandchild, first niece, first everything for everybody. So I got a lot of attention, and I loved it. When you grow up, when you have a happy childhood, you think that is normal. You don't realize, you know, that there is a different world out there.
When I walk along the border of Afghanistan, I see so many red and pink flowers on both sides of the road. I think, oh yes, My country is so beautiful.